Welcome to Thinking Particles 3. In this video we're going to take a look at the Thinking Particles UI and talk about the basics of how Thinking Particles works. You're going to hear me refer to Thinking Particles as TP a lot. TP is just a fast and easy way to refer to Thinking Particles. Let's go ahead and go up here to the particle systems and select the Thinking, drop him out here. See that TP icon appear? We'll go ahead and click on the Properties button to get into the TP UI. Just a brief overview. Up here in the upper left we've got the group area. This is where we're going to define the particle groups and set up their hierarchies. So some particle groups can be children of other groups. Right below it we've got the master dynamic and the dynamic tree area. This is where we're going to define all the different rules. And those rules are going to be what affects the particle behavior. We'll go ahead and create our first dynamic set just so we can see the work area here. This is the work area or the wire area, sometimes called the schematic view. And over here on the far right hand side we've got the parameter area. This is where we're going to find the different settings available for whatever it is we have selected. Right now I've got the master dynamic selected so we can see all of his menu options. If we select the dynamic set we can see his options. And particle groups, they have their own set of options. And any operator that we create out here in the work area, we're going to see their options here too. So let's go ahead and we'll create a very basic system. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick overview of the Create panel. First up, this first button highlighted in yellow, we've got the particle groups. We're going to access this whenever we want to drop in particle groups. Go ahead and get rid of him. Next up are the conditions. Conditions are used whenever we want to detect certain things, whether they're true or not. Like if a particle is within a certain distance of another, or if he's inside of a mesh, whether he is inside of a light. A lot of times these conditions will have extra useful things available to us, like they'll be able to calculate the distance or the direction between two positions. You can see here after I created this, I created an entry underneath this dynamic set. This is where we're going to see an entire stack of things appear. For now we're going to go ahead and remove that and get rid of them there. This next button, kind of the wheel, the cog, we've got the operators. The operators have an entire series of subcategories. And these are really the nuts and bolts of the major operations that we're going to be using to create particle behavior. Next up, we've got the helpers. Helpers are kind of the smaller bits of logic that we're going to use. Extremely useful and helpful, and can't really do much without them. And last but not least, we've got the black boxes. These are previously saved dynamic sets that basically perform functions that we've pre-built and want to be able to reuse again. This is one of the extreme strengths of Thinking Particles is you can, once you get a certain system built, you can reuse that very easily. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to change our view around a little bit here. We'll switch over so we can see things differently. We're going to go up to the Create panel, to the operators. And whenever we want to create particles, we're going to want to use the generators. There's quite a few different ways to generate particles. The first one we're going to take a look at is position born. Click on position born and then click out here. You can see again this operator appears in two places. We see him out here in the work area and then also over here in the dynamic tree. This also works whenever you want to access different parameters. If you want to select the dynamic set parameters, you can just click on them here in the tree. You want to select the position born, you can click on them here to see the parameters, or you can also select them in the work area. You can see he's got an entire menu available to him. He can define which particle groups he's going to be birthing. He can define how many particles per set. An entire list of available options.